everyone, I am Randy Suarez, aka Silva back here with another amazing reaction. This time we're back with some more casual Geographic. I know it's been a minute, I need to backtrack some of his videos, I know. But let's start with the recent one. The animal, the animal not safe for school. Who's bringing animals to school? Like actual animals, not dogs or cats or actual animals to school. Like, let me know, because that's insane. Especially if someone brings a freaking tiger and stuff like we have not learned that lesson. But anyway, I digress. I can't wait to get into this. So you like, this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to Casual Geographic. I will leave the original link to this video down below so watch it uninterrupted. Also link to my Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me on those social platforms. Also link to the Discord. Come enjoy the crow's nest. Talk amongst yourselves. Have a jolly good time. Also link to the the Cashapp. Feel gracious enough to donate whatever you want to donate. It's fine. Don't. That's fine as well. So thanks, super thanks. But by donating, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all this good stuff, however you show your support, lets me know you rock with the reaction content. Rock with the channel and rock with your boy. But further ado, buckle up and let's get started. All right, we here with some more casual Geographic. The animal not safe for school. I'm kind of curious of which animal, because there's several that are not safe for any school. But
vesting, taxes, and a ferocious hidden penis. Three things school ain't teach you enough about. And unfortunately, this isn't a finance channel. Of course, we're talking about the final boss of Facas, the maligned weasel, one could say measle, of Madagascar, the Fusa. And with that, there's two types of people. Those that have never perceived this rough draft cat, and those that never would have if Jada's will would have rocked Chris and left him with Fresh Prince before they did two moves.
Damn. That's a bar.
And that might be because putting the Fusa on a lesson plan would mean explaining to a room full of children that concealed poop shoot is their actual name. Cryptocrocta ferox is their scientific tag, or
Cryptocrocta ferox. Okay. That sounds like an 80s like breakdancing team. Literally, Cryptocrocta ferox.
Ferox means fierce or ferocious, and cryptoprocta refers to the Fusa's anus being hidden from the public. Fusas use scent glands to mark their territory, and these glands are found in the anal pouch, and this anal pouch is like a modesty garment for their brown balloon knot. That modesty got rewarded with the scientists immortalizing the big bad of Madagascar by its forbidden Fruit Loop. At least they're not alone. They could always start a support group with a platypus. The name almost becomes purposefully provocative when you realize there is one whole, no pun intended, genus named Fusa. This Fusa genus has one living member, and it's not the Fusa, cause screw them, that's why. It's actually the, to be fair, closely related Malagasy civet. But the fact is, a dope-ass scientific name like Fusa fasana went to the civet, but the actual Fusa got stuck with missing butt muscle. That's not the last.
Missing butt muscle is crazy. Okay. Huh. I mean, there's several animals I never heard about, and this is one of them, but several of them, to be honest, but still though.
Or worst way, they get screwed by their own anatomy. I think you know what's coming, but we'll get to that. Maybe the name refers to how much of a pain in the prostate figuring out what this beta-tested big cat actually was. The Fusa was first described in 1833, where they were put in the vivarid family. Not a vivid ferret, although I wouldn't blame you, but a family that has the pee smells like buttered popcorn binturong, along with civets and genets. In 1939, they were moved to a subfamily in Felidae, because folks were really sold on it being a cat. In 1945...
Yeah, why I thought this was a cat. I mean, it's not, see, I see the appeal. I do. But for first glance, I can tell that's not a cat.
A change of heart put incognito back with vivarids. Almost 50 years later in 93, they got a little warmer, with a DNA study putting the Fusa at the mongoose lunch table. But it only took 2 years for someone to try to argue them back with the cats and family Felidae. An animal that hides its seat lips and a family of felines that flash it like ID should have told them the Fusa was the imposter. And eventually something did, and they were put in the Eupluridae family in 2003. It took almost 200 years to ascertain what this unhinged roid weasel was. That still begs
unhinged roid weasel. It's insane. But I see, because I did see the muscles. So yeah, that probably fits it perfectly.
Question: what exactly is a Fusa? That question takes way too much time to answer, and it's probably why most schools don't even bother. So obviously I'm going to try to do it in a minute with no teaching degree. So, with Order Carnivora, there's basically two teams, Team Cat and Team Dog. Team Dog, Caniformia, is basically all the animals you think are dogs, and you got your pinnipeds, the raccoon family, your bears, and the weasel family, aka the animals that think they're bears. Team Cat, Feliform are, well, cats, hyenas, and the mongooses. The Fusa is on the feliform side, and their family Eupluridae is full of animals you've never seen before. If you can name this, you're either lying or you're better than me. The Fusa family shares a common ancestor with the mongoose mafia Herpestidae, and both of them are distant cousins with the hyena family. So even though I'm pretty sure I called it a weasel,
So it technically is like a fusion of a hyena weasel. Ooh. Okay.
twice, they're actually on opposite sides. In fact, when you think about it, mongooses are the weasels of cats, and weasels are the mongooses of dogs. Eupluridae has other Madagascar predators you've never heard of because King Julian didn't scream their name loud enough. They include 6 types of Bonceras, like this ring-tailed right here, and also mongoose members like the brown-tailed and the broad-striped. But like I said, the closest living relative of the Fusa is the Malagasy civet that snatched its chain and took his name, but best believe the Fusa gets the last word. So what is the Fusa? The Fusa is an overgrown steroid mongoose civet understudy built like a time-strung cougar with the same cursed anatomy of a hyena. Nothing about animal casserole is
So it's literally the definition of a cat dog. Okay. Alright. Yeah. I ain't just no.
straightforward. Even their name had to be an argument. Anyone who had a childhood like mine would pronounce it the same way I've been doing. But if you follow the Attenborough rule, Sir David would have had you saying Fossa. What if I told you both are technically wrong? Because their name comes from the original Malagasy word, and apparently the correct way to say it is Foosh. Like Foosh, with a performance anxiety at the end. Experts feel free to correct me, but apparently that is the closest to the OG Malagasy pronunciation. It's just that the global game of telephone has Americans saying Fusa, while England pronounces it as Fossa. So if your point of reference is the movie, it's the Fossa. If it's Sir Attenborough or the Wild Thornberrys, it's Fossa. And if you want to feel better than everyone, it's Foosh. Now, another reason the Foosh is blacklisted from the curriculum is not just because depending on where you are, they can be thousands of miles and oceans away, but the entirety of your Pluridae is endangered, and if they're not, they're endangered of being endangered. What does that mean?
How dangerous is this thing? You know what? I think I'm about to find out.
Well, it could mean a lot. You never know what cures nature could be hiding, or where.
True.
Scientists once studied the antibodies in llamas in hopes of curing the big cough of 2020, and many believe this moss carpet's fur may contain the key against malaria. But beyond that, losing life over there could hit your pockets here. Deforestation is the biggest reason for the flatlining of Fusa and friends, and according to this article, the same arborcidal activities can cause extreme weather that can lead to the jacking up of food prices. So yeah, something happening a world away can come back to bite you in the wallet, and you might not even realize it until you're forced to finance a carton of eggs. That's honestly why I feel pretty good about working with Ground News, because being informed has never been more important. Ground News is an app developed by a former NASA engineer and designed to abolish bias. Ground News lets you learn more about the things you're interested in or affected by, and it paints the picture as wide as possible, instead of hiding it like a Fusa Fruit Loop. Ground News shows you exactly how far left or right the source of a story leans with.
Now that's a app. He's doing the advertising pretty smooth as hell on this one. I could learn something from this. It's one of those things I probably say this. This is the reason why I don't have I stay away from the news as much as I can because there's so much anxiety I can take. But them to do something like this is pretty smart.
An overall factuality check. It's basically a more productive version of doom scrolling at 2 a.m., which, let's be real, we already do. And whether it's in your backyard or an island thousands of miles away, you can actually be informed on things. Things like the price of potatoes going up 22% in the UK, and a West African heat wave leading to a 280% markup in cocoa prices. That's why I partnered with Ground News, and if you'd also like to be chronically online in the best way possible, I got you with 40% off the same $5 a month Vantage plan I'm using. If you use my link on screen, in the description, it don't matter, I'm flexible. Make sure you go to groundnews.com/casualgeo to subscribe. But anyway, Fusa are a lot. Actually, speaking on their name, we low-key don't even spell it right. The original Malagasy name is Fusha with one S. Apparently colonizers saw that and were having none of it. Also, we don't know exactly where the name comes from, but the theory is in languages like Tagalog, Pusha means cat, and in Iban, Posa might also refer to the Malayan weasel. So I can only guess that something happened where they were like, well, this thing looks like a cat, but could also pass for a weasel, and we call both Pusha. So the logical name is Fusha, because being a Fusa means being defined by how close you are to being something else, which is actually their origin. Fusa are cats nature tried redrawing strictly from memory, and I'm not even kidding. You ever wonder how they got there in the first place? The aggressive absentness is believed to have spawned from a common ancestor about 20 million years ago, except Madagascar physically divorced from the subcontinent of India 80 million some years ago. How did the Fush get loose on Madagascar? There's a couple theories, and the predominant one is that their ancestors rafted on floating vegetation, about 250 miles across the Mozambique Channel, a trip that would have lasted a little over a month. Really, the Fusa just proves how much nature cooked with cats. You basically had an oversized meerkat spawn on an island with no big cat apex predator, so they messed around and became one. The end game of evolving.
Yeah, it's like an actual regular weasel become a freaking apple, literally top of the food chain. Like, you're insane. Like, literally.
The perfect milk machine with milk is apparently cat. Fusas aren't that, but these Fusas apex is This was a reasonable crash out. They might look cute to us, but this is the Reaper to the Madagascar.
Support they said use
perfect
Julie
milk
as
machine with milk is apparently cat. Fusas aren't that, but these Fusas apex is This was a
to have this as your favorite crash, like legit crash out because of a foos. I'm using it the right time. Yeah, probably reasonable crash out.
reasonable crash out. They might look cute to us, but this is the Reaper to the Madagascar population. Nature didn't stop at retractable claws. They have ankles that can almost turn backwards, meaning they can move through the trees like a homicidal squirrel. It's not enough that they'll run you down on land or tree, but they'll often tag team prey with one Foosh chasing prey through the trees, weaponizing predatory parkour to force them on the ground, where Fusa number 2 hawks them down. The entire jungle is food to a Fusa, even their closest cousin. There was an actual problem where researchers were trying to study the Malagasy civet, but Fusas kept following trap lines and eating the captured animals. Fusa move on their own timing, literally. They're cathemral, meaning they're active whenever they feel like. There's no combination of numbers on a clock when a Fusa can't strike, which is why their main personality trait is inflicting primal panic in lemurs. Not only is half their diet lemur meat, they'll straight up rip sleeping lemurs out of napping spots. They tell stories about the Fusa. This is their Freddy Cougar. That is one bad mother.
Yeah, as he said, justifiable crash out. Literally.
Faka. Shifaka. That is a Shifaka, and they're named after the sound they make in the face of a Fusa. Oh shit, fuck. Because Fusa will eviscerate them, with scientists finding Fakas life deprived with their intestines ripped out. Fusa will flatline anything lemur, even the ones weighing nearly as much as they do. You think they give a Faka? No, they take them, straight off the senses. Shifaka, he Faka, you Faka, and in Fusa's eyes, anyone can get it. Millions of years being marooned on an island does things to you, and one of the consequences is Fusas do something no other mammal does. The following is strictly for educational purposes. That being said, it might just be time to put the kids to bed. Fusas can't change from girls to guys, but boy do they do everything to convince you otherwise. Fusa go through transient masculinization, where they develop the same pseudo-situation hyenas got. Except with them, it involves a young female Fusa flitteris growing large enough and spiky enough to make them anatomically identical to a male. They'll even release the same musky orange product males do. The difference is, where hyenas have to pass kids like a kidney stone, eventually the Fusa's baby-making business end goes back to normal. But for a time, you really can't tell male from female. And that might just be the point. There's some things about this freak-off ferret that makes being young, female, and Fusa
wait, what'd you call it?
And goes back to normal.
What'd you call it?
For a time, you really can't tell male from female. And that might just be the point. There's some things about this freak-off ferret that makes being...
Freak-off ferret. Okay, that's a new one. Freak-off ferret. Okay. Alright.
Young, female, and Fusa, the worst combination. Female Fusas are highly territorial, because they'll make love in the same tree year after year. Call it the tree of life. And Fusa foreplay involves the female sitting high up in the tree, with starving males down below competing for her time. Now the thing with Fusas is, the female will spend nearly a week in the tree, where she'll be visited by several males. 4, 5, sometimes 6, 7. Some yellow lights don't get ran through that much, and there is no honor system. Males will often climb up the tree to shoot their shot, while the female's already physically occupied by another. So
Damn.
yeah, it's a Fusa freak-off free-for-all. Imagine the ones from the
A Fusa freak-off free-for-all. That's a weirdly clever bar.
movie, but instead of feeding for food, they desperately fall over each other trying to make a baby mother, which might explain the gender bending. Young females can get put on a shirt by an older vindictive female, and put in a hearse by a horde of hormonal males. This can really be a problem since apparently males can't tell when a female is ovulating, so they just keep trying. Which could kill an inexperienced female cause, well, they're not the only ones with some nonsense in the nethers. Fusas hold a world record, and that's having the largest penis relative to body size of any mammal.
Hey, yo! You know what? I could have gone my entire life without knowing this.
They somehow beat out the tapir, and I've seen one use his as a tripod and a back scratcher. But I guess a 30-inch animal dragging a nearly 8-inch nectar dispenser is notable. Educational purpose.
Nectar dispenser is crazy! Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Nectar dispenser. Okay.
I swear, because the sheer coital competition is why Fusas are hung like an adolescent donkey. They also
hung
have
like an adolescent donkey. Okay. Alright. Wrap it up, my man.
To stay in the game as long as possible, even when the coach, other players, and even ref want him out. And not only that, they also have backward-facing spines on their procreation pickle, which makes retraction not impossible, but incredibly uncomfortable to watch. Can't even imagine how that feels. Or maybe I just don't want to. We probably wouldn't even know all this if they weren't so damn loud about it. It's also hard to miss that females can put in 14-hour shifts in one day with multiple males, or sometimes just one. Not only will a Fusa couple go at it for hours, they can spend an extra one stuck in the same physical tie dogs get caught in. Of course, this means nothing to the competition, with researchers witnessing females having to chase off males while still attached cat dog style to their last body. And sometimes
Again, I could have gone my entire life without knowing all this.
Rivals climb the tree to fight the male while he's still baculum deep. It's straight player hating, and why Fusas do it at the very tops of the trees, like a tryst on trapeze. Some males will even play defense by guarding the female hours after they mate, especially if that male got interrupted. The couple can even injure themselves, and there's a non-zero chance the male falls and breaks his baculum. It's an entirely unpleasant process from start to finish, and if I have to know that, you do too, and if you unclick for that, I wouldn't blame you. But really,
look, man, you drag me down to you with this one. I might as well finish the damn video, okay?
Makes you look at these guys different, and when your own conception is that demon-esque, unfortunately it's no surprise when they get treated like one. In Malagasy culture, there's something called fadi. My understanding is fadi are spiritual beliefs Malagasy people live by, basically cultural taboos ingrained into their society. For example, eating with a hat on, considered fadi, and the punishment is baldness. Eating while standing is fadi, and the penalty could be famine. There's hundreds of examples of fadi, and one of them actually protects the fush. It's said that Fusas will feed on the long-expired bodies of ancestors buried in the forest, making it fadi to eat Fusa meat. But Fusa have some other freaky folklore about them, like one that says they crawl out the forest at night to steal babies straight out the cradle. Another legend tells of Fushas licking a sleeping person to put them in an unbreakable trance so they can disembowel them. Another says the Fusa's smell is enough to drop chickens dead on the spot, literally instant death through mustiness. So yeah, lemurs aren't the only things with thumbs that don't think much of the afterpick of an anti-drug PSA for predators. But of course, the Madagascar murder mongoose is almost zero threat to humans. To a lemur, that's a death threat, but to humans, they're just overly ambitious raccoons. Compare that to the absolute number done on the cryptic chocolate Cheerio by man, and it's no matchup. If they're not actively getting screwed over by property development, Fusa get flatlined in retaliation for preying on poultry. Not to mention many will defy fatty, as in up to half of all Malagasy communities, Fusa flesh is regularly eaten. Honestly, Madagascar as a whole is in danger, with over 90% of her forests already gone. And keep in mind, many like the Fush are only found on the Big Red Island, so once they're gone from there, they're gone for good. Better appreciate it while it's still here, and who knows, maybe I'll take a trip down there. No promises though, I've already made too many. But that's for later. For now, drink water.
He's like, no more promises. I already made too many. Damn right, this third place you still have to go, my bro.
Hug your mother, spread the Fusa word. If school won't, we will. Touch grass, call your father, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Alright. Let's just say this. Some of the stuff about the Foosh, I didn't need to know. Especially the last few parts. But, sucks that the 4% of Madagascar forest is basically... So, man, that's... Oh, man. And when it comes down to it, that's what I'm saying. When it comes down to protecting the environment, is definitely is important in different aspects, because we do have animals that does live there. You can't just go screw these animals, yada yada. You can always save water and all that stuff like that. It just, some people don't want to spend the time to do all that. Which, yeah, okay, but still though. But anyway, I digress. This is a certain one that the last few parts, let's just say I'm most likely gonna block that out of my mind. But the man was cooking in this video, so I hope y'all like this video as much as I did. And if you like any of this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to Casual Geographic. I will leave the original link to this video down below so you watch it uninterrupted. Until next time, please take care of yourself. Stay hydrated, stay safe, stay warm. Peace out.
And little questions is everything they know about you.